What's up, board gamers? Thank you for checking out our review of Bunny Kingdom. Bunny Kingdom is a lightweight card drafting game with the following description. Draft cards and pick the right ones to position your warrens on the 100 squares of the board. Provide resources to your colonies, build new cities to increase your influence, and plan your strategy to score big at the end of the game. Settle in lakesides or fields to collect water and grow carrots, gather mushrooms in the green forest, and climb to the highest mountains to discover rare and precious resources. Secretly rally rabbit lords and recruit skillful masters to make your cities and resources even more valuable at the end of the game. The mechanisms in this game are area majority, card drafting, and endgame bonuses. The goal of Bunny Kingdom is for players to place rabbits of their colour onto the game board to build contiguous areas called fiefs, which will contain unique resources that score by being multiplied by city towers. There are 3 phases that players play through in Bunny Kingdom. They are drafting, construction, and harvest, which are cycled through over 4 rounds. In the first phase of Bunny Kingdom, players take turns in choosing 2 cards from their hand of 10 and passing the remaining hand on to the next player. This is known as drafting. Whilst players are drafting, they are deciding which cards to keep from a selection of territory cards, parchment cards, city cards, and resource cards. After selecting 2 cards, players lay out these cards in front of them and take one of the following actions. Put bunnies out matching their territory cards. Collect plastic buildings that match their city cards, collect the resource that matches their resource card, or secretly store their parchment cards for the end game scoring. Each territory card has a number and letter in the corner showing which plot of land it relates to on the main game board. Players are attempting to select plots of land adjacent to each other, and these joined plots of land are known as a fief. Parchment cards give players endgame goals to pursue throughout the game to maximise their final points. For example, endgame goals could be 12 points if you're the player who controls the most territories, 2 points for each wood that you produce, or 10 points if you are in second place after final scoring. City cards come in 3 different values: cities with 1 tower, 2 tower, or 3 towers. The number of towers are important because at the end of each round they are multiplied by the number of unique resources contained within each fief on the game board. City cards with 3 towers are the most rare, and city cards with 1 tower are the most common. During the construction phase, players are able to build city towers and also put out their resources from the cards they played in the drafting phase. Part of the fun decision making process is to decide whether a rabbit receives a city or a resource, as it can only receive one or the other. Players also have the option to wait before playing these items to see how the game board develops over the 4 rounds. Resource cards have a picture of a resource on them, such as a fish, a wood, or carrots. There are also unique luxury resources which are worth looking out for, as they cannot be found on the main game board, which makes them completely unique. The resources are represented by corner tiles placed onto a territory where a player's bunny is located. Also, some resource cards are camp cards or sky towers. Camps are useful as they can be played on any territory to connect 2 fiefs that are separated by a single space, therefore making it 1 large fief instead of 2 smaller separate fiefs. Though using a camp card can be risky to connect fiefs because the actual plot card may be drafted in later rounds, removing the camp and enabling the plot owner to take ownership. Sky towers are similar to camps in that they connect 2 smaller fiefs into 1 larger fief. However, the fiefs can be located anywhere on the game board, which makes them extremely powerful, and there are only 3 cards of these out of a large deck of 182. Once players have completed the building phase by putting out all of their cities and resource tiles shown on their collected cards, they then enter the harvest phase. In this phase, players work their way across the game board and stop at every fief to multiply the number of city towers by the number of unique resources within that fief. For example, a fief that has 3 city towers, which contains bunnies on a wood and a carrot resource, would score 6 points. Players cycle through the drafting phase, construction phase, and harvest phase each time over 4 rounds, accumulating points after each round. After the final harvest, players reveal their endgame parchment cards and begin to add these to their final score. The player who has the highest score wins the game. The things to be mindful of are that it can be frustrating waiting for cards to arrive that connect your plots of lands out of a huge deck of cards. It's also possible for players to deliberately take cards that directly benefit their opponents to interrupt their strategy. Initial plays are more difficult, as striking a balance of how many territories to control and how many endgame point cards to retain can be hard to judge. so experienced players will have an advantage, as will players who have an excellent memory during the drafting cards phase. The things we like about Bunny Kingdom are extensive. We greatly enjoy the drafting phase and selecting what are the most important items to keep and what can be passed on to other players. Do we keep this territory card so the next player can't join their fiefs up, or should we keep this resource card to improve the score within one of our own? Every hand provides interesting decisions, and the endgame scoring cards are excellent ways to score a great deal of points at the finale, so it's not possible to know who wins right up until the very end. The game plays quickly as it is mostly played simultaneously apart from the harvest phase. This keeps players involved and reduces the downtime. It's also satisfying to see your fiefs spread out on the game board, and it remains fun even when other players are interrupting your connections between territories. On the whole, this is a good game for families or established gamers with engaging decisions, which we give an 8 out of 10 here at Board Game Pix. Thanks for checking out our review of Bunny Kingdom.